Imagine standing in front of a crowd. Your heart is racing. You have something important to say, and you know your words could change everything. Picture yourself facing a sea of people. Your pulse quickens. You have a message that matters, and you feel it could shift everything around you. In that moment, you invoke the power of words. The energy in the room shifts, and suddenly everything feels possible. You feel stronger, like your voice has power. That's when your words take charge. The atmosphere transforms, and suddenly new possibilities open up. You stand taller, realizing your voice carries real weight. Can you think of a time when your words had that kind of effect? Maybe you convinced a friend or inspired people to take action. Have you ever spoken in a way that truly influenced someone? Maybe you helped a friend overcome fear or encouraged a group to take a bold step. In these moments, we don't just speak, we invoke the power of words. We call upon them with intention, making them something greater than speech. At times like these, words aren't just sounds. We use them deliberately, giving them strength, turning them into something far more impactful. You might say, I just told him that everything would be okay, and he believed me. Or, when I spoke, the team listened. Maybe you said, I reassured him, and he felt safe. Or, I shared my thoughts, and suddenly my team was ready to take action. Now, let's move to a different scenario. Imagine you're walking through a city, trying to enter a building, but someone tells you that you can't. Now, picture yourself in a crowded city heading toward a building. Just as you're about to step inside, someone blocks your way and refuses to let you in. You know that's not right. You invoke your rights with confidence. You assert them, calmly explaining the law. The security guard can't turn you away. You know this isn't fair. You stand firm, clearly stating what the rules say. Without hesitation, you explain the facts, making sure they understand you're not leaving. You can't tell me I can't enter. I know my rights, you might say, standing tall and feeling a sense of power. You have no right to stop me. I know exactly what I'm allowed to do. You declare, your posture strong, your voice steady. So, what do both of these stories have in common? It's about confidence, standing up, speaking up, and knowing the power you hold. What connects these two moments? It's all about self-assurance, expressing yourself boldly, not hesitating, and recognizing how much strength you already have. In the first case, you invoke the power of words. In the second, you invoke your rights. Both show the strength of calling upon something. The first story shows how speech can inspire. The second proves that knowing the rules can protect you. In both, you tap into something strong. Let's take a step back. The word invoke comes from Latin, invocare, meaning to call upon or to summon for help. Now let's look at the origin. The term comes from Latin, where it meant asking for support or bringing something into effect through words. In ancient times, people would invoke gods or spirits, asking for blessings. Imagine a Roman priest calling upon the gods to bring favor. A long time ago, people turned to gods or spirits for help. Picture a priest in Rome speaking solemnly, hoping divine forces would answer his request. Over time, this idea of calling upon evolved. Now we use invoke to bring out the power of something, words, rights, even emotions. As centuries passed, the meaning shifted. Today we use this word to describe how we bring out strength, whether in language, laws, or deep feelings. Think about how invoke feels different from use or call. It adds intention, like you're reaching out to something greater. This word isn't just about using something, it carries purpose. It means deliberately drawing on something bigger than yourself, making it work for you. You're not just using words or claiming rights, you're summoning them, giving them power, making them something more than ordinary actions. It's more than just talking or pointing out rules. It's about activating them, turning them into something forceful and undeniable. Now, where could you use invoke? Maybe when giving a speech, standing up for yourself, or calling upon something you truly believe in. So, where does this word fit? Maybe when you're addressing a crowd, defending your choices, or bringing forward an idea that truly matters to you. By now, it should be clear when you invoke something, you call upon it with purpose, bringing it into action to make a difference. At this point, the meaning is clear. This word is about deliberately drawing on something powerful and using it to create a real impact. Whether using your voice or standing your ground, invoke reminds you of the power you already have. You just have to use it. No matter if you're speaking up or asserting yourself, this word is a reminder that your strength is already there. You just need to put it into motion. Imagine sitting alone in your old room. Everything feels familiar, but something's different. You close your eyes and for a moment you invoke a memory. You find yourself back in your childhood room sitting in silence. It feels like home, yet something is off. You shut your eyes and suddenly a forgotten moment resurfaces. Suddenly the scent of your mother's cooking fills the air and you can almost hear the laughter from when you were younger. That memory brings you back, like it happened just yesterday. Out of nowhere, the warm, familiar smell of your mom's food surrounds you. It's so real that you can almost hear the cheerful voices from your past echoing around you. Ever had a memory like that? One where you close your eyes and just invoke a memory so vivid it feels like you're right there again? Has your mind ever pulled you back so strongly that for a moment, it feels like you never left? Just a simple thought and suddenly you're reliving it all. Maybe you'd say, it feels like I can smell her cooking just like it was before. Or when I think back, I can almost hear her calling me for dinner. You might find yourself thinking, it's like the smell of her cooking is still in the air. Or, I swear I can still hear her voice telling me to come eat. Now, let's shift gears. Imagine waking up in a place you've never been, surrounded by mountains. Let's change the scene. You open your eyes in a completely unfamiliar place. Towering mountains stretch as far as you can see. You feel this urge to explore, like something deep inside you's calling. You invoke the spirit of adventure. A sudden excitement stirs inside you, a feeling that pushes you to step forward and see what's out there. You're not just going for a hike. You're ready to dive into the unknown and see what lies ahead. This isn't just about walking up a trail. You're setting off on a journey, unsure of what's waiting for you. Can you think of a time when the unknown didn't scare you, but made you feel alive? Have you ever faced something completely new and felt excitement instead of fear? You might say, let's go. Who knows what we'll find up there? Or maybe, I don't care where it leads. I just feel the spirit of adventure pushing me forward. Maybe you'd say, I can't wait to see what's ahead. Or, I have no idea where this road takes me, but I'm ready to find out. Now, let's change the scene a bit. Picture yourself in a tough competition. It's not just about winning, it's about survival. Imagine being thrown into a high-stakes challenge. This isn't just about coming first, it's about proving you belong. You've got to be smart, fast, and ruthless. In this moment, you have to invoke the law of the jungle if you want to win. You need sharp instincts, quick moves, and the mindset to do whatever it takes. If you hesitate, you're out. It's no longer just a game. It's about doing whatever it takes to come out on top. This isn't playtime anymore. If you're not ready to fight for it, someone else will take your spot. Ever been in a situation where the rules didn't matter anymore? You might say, I have to be the last one standing. Have you ever found yourself in a moment where fairness didn't count? Only making it through did? You'd probably think, I can't afford to lose this. Or maybe, in this game, you either adapt or you're left behind. Or maybe you'd say, if I don't keep up, I won't make it. So, what do all these examples have in common? Whether it's a memory, a feeling of adventure, or survival, in each case, you're invoking something. What's the connection between all these moments? Whether you're remembering the past, chasing something new, or fighting to win, each time, you're drawing from within. You're calling on something deeper, something already within you, and bringing it to life. It's not something you find, it's already a part of you, just waiting to be used. With memories, you're pulling them into the present. When you invoke the spirit of adventure, you're tapping into that inner desire to explore. When you remember, you bring the past back for a moment. When adventure calls, it's that restless energy inside you pushing forward. And when you invoke the law of the jungle, you're channeling that instinct to compete. And when survival mode kicks in, you're relying on raw instinct to stay ahead. Next time you're looking back on the past or diving into something unknown, remember, you can always invoke what you need to move forward. So when you find yourself lost in memories or stepping into the unknown, remind yourself you already have what it takes to keep going. Imagine you're on a boat, cruising on a calm sea. The sun is shining and the waves are gentle. Then, out of nowhere, dark clouds roll in. You're floating on a peaceful sea, enjoying the warmth of the sun. The water is still, everything feels perfect. Then, suddenly, dark storm clouds appear on the horizon. A storm picks up, and suddenly the wind howls and the rain pours down like never before. You've just invoked the wrath of nature. In an instant, the wind turns wild and heavy rain starts pounding down. It feels like the ocean itself has turned against you. One moment, you were peacefully sailing, and now you're caught in a furious storm. It's like nature herself got angry and decided to show her power. A second ago, the ride was smooth, and now chaos surrounds you. It's as if the sky and sea joined forces to remind you who's in charge. Have you ever said something so unexpected that it made everyone around you stop? Maybe you cracked a joke in a serious meeting or said something bold in an argument. Have you ever dropped a comment that made the whole room freeze? Maybe you made a joke when no one was expecting it or said something daring in a heated discussion. That moment of silence that followed, when everyone stopped to take in your words, that's invoking a reaction. The power of what you said hangs in the air. That pause, when people take a second to process what you just said, that's when you know your words hit differently. You can almost feel the weight of it. You might think, I can't believe I just said that, or what just happened? Did I really cause all this silence? You can sense the shift in the atmosphere. Maybe you're thinking, whoa, did that really come out of my mouth? Or, why is everyone staring at me like that? But that's the magic of invoking a reaction. You spark something in the room, something powerful that words alone can't describe. That's the beauty of saying something that truly lands. You stir emotions in a way that goes beyond just words. Now, imagine you're standing on the edge of a cliff, looking down at the sea below. The drop is high, and your heart races with fear. Picture yourself at the edge of a towering cliff, staring at the waves crashing below. Your hands get clammy, and your heartbeat speeds up. You want to jump, but the fear is holding you back. You take a deep breath and invoke the courage within. You gather every ounce of bravery and leap without a second thought. You hesitate, fear gripping you, but then you inhale deeply. Push the fear aside and throw yourself forward before doubt creeps in. It's amazing, right? How you can suddenly find the strength to do something so terrifying. That's the power of invoking the courage within. Crazy, isn't it? How, in just one moment, you can push past fear and do something you never thought possible. It's like you're calling on something deep inside to push through the fear and do what you thought you couldn't. It's as if a hidden force inside you takes over, pushing you past hesitation and into action. So, what do all these stories have in common? They're about using something you already have, whether it's the force of nature, the power of words, or your inner strength. What connects all these moments? They all show that you already hold the key, whether it's nature's fury, the impact of words, or the bravery inside you. Each time you invoke something to make things happen, you're not just waiting for it, you're calling on it. You're actively making it work for you. Every time you don't just sit back and let things happen, you reach for something and bring it to life. When you invoke the wrath of nature, you're calling on a force bigger than yourself. When you invoke a reaction, you're sparking something in others. When nature unleashes its fury, it reminds you how small you are. When your words strike a nerve, they leave a mark on the people around you. And when you invoke the courage within, you're reaching deep inside and finding the strength to face your fears. And when you dig for courage, you unlock the strength to push past fear and do what once felt impossible. Think about it. Where in your life could you use the word invoke? Maybe when you speak up for yourself, or when you finally do something that scares you. Now, look at your own life. When have you needed to step up? Maybe when you defended yourself or faced something that once seemed too big to handle. You're not just using what's there, you're calling upon it, bringing it into action. That's the true power of invoke. It's not just about having something inside you, it's about knowing how to bring it forward and use it when it matters most. Imagine being in the middle of the Cold War. The world feels tense, and the US and the Soviet Union are in a dangerous standoff. The threat of nuclear war is real. Think about living during the Cold War. The atmosphere is thick with anxiety. The US and the Soviet Union stand on edge, both ready to act. Everyone fears that at any moment, a nuclear catastrophe could unfold. Leaders on both sides invoke the fear of nuclear destruction to justify their military buildups. They say the other side is a threat to global peace, using the possibility of annihilation to rally their citizens and hold power. Politicians on both sides keep reminding people of the horrors of nuclear war to explain why they need more weapons. They paint the enemy as a danger to the world, using this fear to gain public support and maintain authority. The fear is so strong that it controls every action, but strangely, neither side wants to actually fight. The invocation of nuclear war becomes a way to control, spread fear, and gain power without a single shot being fired. The terror is so overwhelming that it dictates every decision. Yet the strange reality is that no one actually wants a battle. Just the idea of war is enough to keep people in fear and leaders in charge, without a missile ever being launched. It's a paradox. The more you talk about destruction, the more you can avoid it. It's ironic. The more they warn about war, the less likely it becomes, as fear itself keeps both sides from pulling the trigger. Now, think about the Salem witch trials in 1692. A small town in New England is filled with fear. People start whispering about witches, and soon enough, accusations fly. Picture a quiet town in 1692 where fear spreads like wildfire. One person murmurs about witches, and suddenly fingers are pointing in every direction. The authorities invoke the devil's name to justify their actions. They say the women accused of witchcraft are under Satan's control, but many of them are just harmless healers or misunderstood outcasts. The town's leaders claim that dark forces are at work, using this as an excuse to punish those accused. But most of the so-called witches are just ordinary people. Some practice herbal medicine, while others simply don't fit in. They use the power of Satan's name to justify the violence and fear. The town is torn apart, and innocent people are accused and executed based on nothing but superstition. By blaming the devil, they make their actions seem righteous. The once peaceful town turns into a nightmare, as people are arrested and sentenced to death over baseless fears. The invocation of the devil's name makes the unknown feel real, giving people something to latch onto in their fear, even though it's not true. By constantly bringing up the devil, they make superstition feel like reality, offering people a way to explain their fears, even if there's no truth behind it. It's all about suggestion, controlling and manipulating a society caught in chaos. It all comes down to planting ideas, using fear to steer an entire community that's already lost in uncertainty. Now, let's look at the French Revolution. Leaders like Robespierre invoke the power of liberty, equality, and fraternity to rally the people. They promise freedom, but behind those words, blood is spilled. Now imagine the streets of Paris during the French Revolution. Leaders like Robespierre inspire the crowds with grand speeches about liberty and justice. But behind the passionate words, executions become a daily sight. Revolutionary leaders use these ideals to justify violence and executions. The streets of Paris are alive with fear and excitement as people march, demanding change. These ideals, freedom, equality, and unity, become the excuse for mass arrests and public executions. The city pulses with both hope and terror as people demand a new order. The guillotine becomes a symbol of the revolution. Leaders invoke these powerful ideals to push their agenda forward, convincing the people that violence is needed to achieve freedom. The guillotine, standing tall in the city squares, becomes the revolution's icon. Leaders keep using big promises to push their plans, making people believe that only through bloodshed can they build a better society. In this case, the invocation of these ideals becomes a tool to justify anything, even the deaths of thousands. By constantly speaking of justice and equality, they make even mass executions seem necessary for the cause. The leaders aren't just fighting for political change, they're invoking an entire movement, using it to manipulate the masses and stay in control. This isn't just about a new government. It's about controlling the emotions of the people, turning a revolution into a tool for power. In each of these stories, invoke is used to summon something powerful: fear, ideology, or destruction. Whether it's the threat of nuclear war, the devil's name, or revolutionary ideals, the power to invoke becomes a tool to control, justify, and rally people behind a cause. In all these cases, calling upon something bigger, whether it's fear, religion, or politics, becomes a way to influence and control entire societies. In the Cold War, it was about fear and power. In Salem, it was manipulation through superstition. In the French Revolution, it was about using ideals to push an agenda. During the Cold War, leaders kept people afraid to hold on to power. In Salem, fear was fueled by myths and blind belief. In France, revolutionaries used big ideas to justify brutal actions. In all these cases, invoking something gave leaders power, even when that power was built on fear, lies, or violence. In every example, those in charge gained influence by calling on something greater, even when their strength came from spreading panic or deception. So what does invoke mean here? It's about calling on something, using it to justify actions, bring people together, or inspire fear. So what does it really mean to invoke? It's about using an idea, whether real or imagined, to justify actions, unite people, or create fear. Whether it's the threat of total destruction, an imagined supernatural force, or a set of ideals, invoke is about summoning something bigger to achieve a goal, even when that goal is uncertain or dangerous. No matter if it's a nuclear nightmare, a belief in dark forces, or a promise of revolution, invoking something means using a powerful idea to shape minds and control outcomes, even when the results are unpredictable or deadly. Suppose you're wandering in an ancient forest where the trees whisper secrets. The air is thick with mystery, and you feel like something is watching you. Picture yourself walking through a deep, ancient forest. The trees seem alive, their rustling leaves carrying quiet whispers. There's something eerie in the air, like an invisible presence lurking nearby, just out of sight. You stumble upon a forgotten artifact, half buried in the dirt. Without realizing it, you invoke a curse. Suddenly, everything changes. Shadows grow darker, and you sense something ominous following your every move. Your foot kicks something hard beneath the soil. Brushing away the dirt, you uncover an old, mysterious object. The moment your fingers touch it, a strange energy fills the air. The forest shifts, the shadows stretch unnaturally, and an unsettling feeling creeps up your spine, as if unseen eyes are locked onto you. You didn't mean to, but now you're part of an ancient tale, a curse that will change your fate forever. You had no intention of stepping into a legend, but now you're woven into its story. The past has reached out and taken hold of you, altering your path in ways you can't yet understand. Have you ever wondered what lies beyond the stars? You gaze at the sky, imagining distant planets and galaxies. The night is quiet, and the possibilities feel endless. Ever stared at the sky and felt your mind drift beyond it? The stars blink above, scattered across the vast unknown. It makes you think, what's really out there, past the reach of our world? You're standing on the edge of something big. You invoke the unknown, stepping into a realm full of mysteries yet to be discovered. It feels like you're at the start of an incredible journey. You take a step forward, not knowing what awaits, but feeling the thrill of stepping into something greater than yourself. As you look up, you might think, what if I could be the first to see what's out there? You're no longer just dreaming about the stars, you're ready to explore them. You stare at the endless sky, imagining yourself breaking free from Earth. What if you could reach those distant places? What if you could be the one to uncover something no one has ever seen before? Now, picture yourself at a party. The music is playing, laughter fills the air, and everyone is having a good time. Think about a night filled with energy, music pulsing through the air, voices blending in cheerful conversation. The whole place feels alive, buzzing with excitement. The lights are soft and everything feels just right. You feel like you could stay in this moment forever. The atmosphere is perfect. Warm lights, good company, and a feeling that nothing else matters. This is the kind of moment you wish could last forever. You invoke the magic of the moment, taking it all in. You let the joy and energy wrap around you, letting the magic linger just a little longer. You close your eyes for a second, soaking in everything, the laughter, the music, the happiness in the air. It's a feeling too good to let slip away just yet. Maybe you say, this is perfect, let's never leave. You embrace everything around you, knowing that these moments are rare and special. Turning to a friend, you grin. This is one of those nights we'll remember forever. You hold on to the feeling, knowing moments like this don't come often. So, what's the connection between these stories? All of them involve calling upon something bigger than ourselves. What ties these stories together? In each one, someone reaches beyond their normal world, connecting with something powerful and unknown. Whether it's the curse that changes your fate, the unknown that sparks your curiosity, or the magic that makes the moment unforgettable, you're reaching out to something beyond the ordinary. Whether it's an ancient force, the vastness of space, or the perfect moment at a party, each story is about touching something beyond what we see every day. You might think of invoke as a word that's about bringing out power, mystery, or magic. The word invoke is all about drawing something out, whether it's hidden strength, deep mystery, or something almost magical. The word itself comes from Latin invocare, which means to call upon. In ancient times, people would invoke the gods for help or blessings. Long ago, people used invoke when they needed divine help. It comes from Latin, meaning to call on something greater, whether for guidance, protection, or strength. This idea of calling out to something greater still carries through today when we talk about invoking the power of something, whether it's a curse, the unknown, or a special moment. Even now, when we use invoke, we mean summoning something important, whether it's fate, curiosity, or the intensity of a moment that stays with us. So, where could you use invoke in your own life? Maybe you're in a situation where you want to call upon your own strength or bring about something important. When could you use the word invoke? Think of a time when you needed to pull out your own strength or make something meaningful happen. You might say, I'm going to invoke my creativity for this project. Or, I'll invoke the courage to take that leap. Maybe you're working on something and tell yourself, I need to bring out my creativity for this. Or you're about to do something scary and say, I'll find the bravery to go for it. It's all about reaching into the unknown and pulling something powerful into the present. It's about tapping into something deep inside you, or something beyond you, that can change what happens next. In the end, Invoke is all about summoning power, whether it's a dark force, an exciting new journey, or the joy of a perfect moment. At its heart, Invoke is about bringing something strong into your life, whether it's a mysterious energy, a bold adventure, or an unforgettable feeling. It's about calling on something that can make a real impact, even if you don't fully understand it yet. It's about unlocking something meaningful, even if you can't quite explain it yet. Imagine you're walking through a new city, not knowing what's around the corner. You turn a corner and suddenly you see the most amazing view you've ever seen. You find yourself wandering through an unfamiliar city, every turn a mystery. As you round a corner, your breath catches. Right in front of you is a view so stunning it feels almost unreal. The buildings, the people, the sky, it all comes together in a perfect moment. You can't help but invoke a sense of wonder at how beautiful the world can be. The streets, the towering buildings, the endless sky, all of it blends into something magical. You stand there, completely amazed, feeling lucky to witness such a sight. It's like you've discovered something you never expected. It feels like stumbling upon a hidden gem, something you never even thought to look for. Have you ever had a moment like that? Maybe when you're traveling or when you see something incredible in nature. You might say, "I can't believe this is real. This place is unbelievable." Have you ever felt that kind of excitement? Maybe while exploring a new place or seeing nature at its most breathtaking. In that moment, you might think, "This can't be real. It's too incredible." Or, "I've never seen anything like this before. It's breathtaking." You might feel like you're seeing the world with fresh eyes, as if everything's new and exciting. Or maybe you'd whisper, "This is beyond anything I've ever seen. It's stunning." It's as if your eyes are discovering the world for the first time, filled with wonder. Now, let's take a step back. Imagine you're lying on a beach, the sun warming your skin. The waves are gently crashing against the shore. Let's switch to something completely different. Picture yourself stretched out on soft sand, feeling the warmth of the sun while the sound of gentle waves surrounds you. It's peaceful, and for a moment, everything feels perfect. You close your eyes and invoke a feeling of peace. It's one of those rare moments where nothing else matters. You shut your eyes, take in a deep breath, and feel an incredible sense of calm settling in. You let go of all your worries and just enjoy the quiet. The calmness takes over and you feel like nothing could disturb your peace. Your mind stops racing and everything slows down. It's as if the world has paused just for you, wrapping you in a quiet, soothing stillness. You might say, "This is exactly what I needed. I feel so calm." Or, "It's so quiet here, I can finally clear my head." You might think, "This is perfect. I finally feel at ease." Or maybe, "I love this silence. It's exactly what I was looking for." It's the kind of peace you can't force. It comes when you let go and just be. This kind of relaxation isn't something you can make happen. It appears on its own when you stop trying and simply exist in the moment. In these moments, you're not just asking for peace, you're invoking it, creating it within yourself. You're not just hoping to feel peaceful, you're making that feeling real from within. Both of these moments, though different, are about creating something powerful. In one, you invoke a sense of wonder by seeing the world in a new way. Even though these experiences are completely different, they both show how you can bring something meaningful into your life. One moment fills you with awe as you look at the world with fresh eyes. In the other, you invoke a feeling of peace by letting everything else fade away, but the word invoke is the same. It's like you're calling for something and making it real. The other lets you sink into stillness by allowing everything else to drift away. The idea is the same. You're making something happen inside you. The idea of calling upon something comes from ancient times, when people would invoke gods or spirits to get what they needed. A long time ago, people would reach out to gods or spirits, asking for help or guidance in moments of need. Now we use it to bring out feelings or change things in our lives. It's the same idea, but applied to the little moments we experience every day. Today, instead of asking for help from above, we use it to stir emotions or shift our thinking in daily life. Now imagine you're standing at the top of a mountain, looking out at everything below. The world looks so different from up here. Everything seems small, and you can see so much more. Picture yourself at the peak of a towering mountain, staring down at the vast landscape below. Everything that once felt big now seems tiny, and your view stretches farther than ever. You've just invoked a change in perspective. What you see isn't the same as what you saw down below, and it changes how you think about everything. Your whole way of seeing things has shifted. What felt massive before now looks small, and suddenly your thoughts begin to change too. You might say, from up here, everything feels different. I didn't realize how tiny everything looks. Or, this view makes me think about life in a whole new way. You could say, wow, I never knew things looked like this from up high. Or maybe, seeing this makes me reflect on life in a completely different way. Sometimes just seeing things from a different angle can change everything. It's the power of perspective, how a small shift can change how you see the world. A tiny adjustment in how you look at things can completely transform your understanding. That's the magic of perspective. It has the ability to open up a new way of thinking. So, whether you're looking at a beautiful view, feeling peaceful on a quiet beach, or seeing the world from a different angle, invoke is the word for calling up a feeling or change you want. Whether it's the sight of something breathtaking, the deep calm of a quiet place, or a fresh way of seeing things, this word describes the act of bringing those emotions or shifts into reality. It's about making something happen on purpose. It's the idea of intentionally creating a change rather than waiting for it to appear on its own.